All right. Today's homework help video is talking about decimal operations, but this time we're doing addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. That means we're going to use order of operations, okay? We're going to do order of operations, okay? So multiplication and division are first in order from left to right, and then last we add or subtract, okay? All right, but we're moving from left to right. Remember, we're using our order of operations. And that's why it says here, think order of operations. Think order of operations. Multiplication and division comes first. Addition and subtraction comes last. So let's look at this first. Let's look at number 2. Bring this over a little bit. All right, so first here, what we have in this problem, read it to you. We have 100 minus, you have 4 times, that's in parentheses. So when you put a number in parentheses and there's no operation between the parentheses and a number or a variable, it's automatically multiplication here. So this is times 55 and 67 hundredths because that last number 7 is in the hundredths place, THS. All right, so now let's first, we're going to have to multiply. Multiplication comes before subtraction. This is subtraction here. So let's multiply this 4 times, or negative 4, which is going to be a negative. Let's multiply it times 55 and 67 hundredths. So we have 55 and 67 hundredths times, I'm an old school multiplication here, 4. We know our answer is going to be a negative, so I'm going to go ahead and put a negative there. Bring the 100 down. A negative times a positive is going to be a negative. Let me move this up, make it look more minus negative, okay? Minus sign. All right, which can also represent a negative, okay? So now we have this here, 4 times 7, which is 28. Then we have 4 times 6, which is 24, 25, 26. We add 2. Then we have 4 times 5, which is 20, plus 2. That's 22. Then we have 4 times 5, which is 20. So again, that's 22. All right. So here, we multiply decimals. We count the decimal spaces. Decimal space in this number, there are 2 spaces behind the decimal here. The decimal space in this number, 0. There are no decimal spaces behind that 4. So when you add that together in our answer, we should have 2 decimal spaces. So this is 1, 2, start from the rear. So this is going to be 100 minus 20, sorry, not 22, 222 and 68 hundredths, okay? That's what that is. All right, so now let's subtract. That's our last step. So when we subtract here, I am going to write this number first. And remember, when you're subtracting the this number, the 100 is positive, and the 222 and some change, that's negative. So our answer is going to be a negative number because the absolute value of this negative 222 is further away from 0 than the 100 is. Okay, and we talked about that in the previous video. So we got 222 and 68 hundredths. And we're subtracting, remember, 100. And I can fill in these place values with zeros. So here, when I subtract, I'm going to get 8 here, 6 here. Remember, bring down the decimal because we're subtracting. 2, 2, 1. And remember, it's going to be a negative answer. So our answer here is going to be a negative 122 and 68 hundredths. Okay. So now let's go to different one. All right, so let's look at number 3. Okay, so we're going to first here, remember when there's not an operation, when I say operation, there are 4 basic ones: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Since you don't see any of those signs per se between a number or a variable, it can be between these two numbers, you have a parenthesis here, it's automatically multiplication. So we have multiplication here and we got subtraction. So again, multiplication and division comes before addition and subtraction. So we're going to multiply first. Okay, so we know that when we multiply 2 positive numbers together, that's going to give us 2 positive numbers. When we multiply 10, that's just going to move the decimal space or the place value over 1. So here, 10 times that 9 and 25 hundredths is actually going to be 92 now and 5/10. Okay, then we got minus 67 and 84 hundredths. So we're just going to subtract and get a positive answer. So when we subtract, this is 92. I probably should have did a different one because I think this one was kind of easy. It's too easy, right? 67, but don't worry, if you have any questions, you can always text me and remind. Okay, send a picture of it, or you can just ask me in class. Okay. All right. So, but make sure you get your homework done, and none of these answers should be blank. None of the answers should be blank. All right. So we're going to subtract. When you subtract, you line up by the decimal. That's why it looks like this, because I lined up by the decimal. I can put a 0 here as a placeholder. So now what I have here when I subtract 4 from 0, I can't. So I decompose my number. This becomes 4. This becomes 10. 10 minus 4 is 6. Cannot subtract 8 from that 4 here. So I'm going to decompose. This is going to be 1. This becomes 14. So now I have 6 here. Okay. Oops, sorry. 14 minus 8 is going to be 6. I cannot subtract 7 from 1. So again, I decompose, and this is 8. So I have 11 minus 7. 11 minus 7, you can always count backwards if you forget. It's 8, 9, 10, 11. That's going to be 4. Okay. All right. Please, there's no harm in counting using your fingers and your toes. Okay. Please count, because some of these problems, or the problems that you're going to have, you're not going to be able to use the calculator all the time for the problems. So you need to make sure that you understand your basic math facts. Okay. And use your hands and your toes. They are resources, right? So we have 8 minus the 6, which gives us 2. All right, with adding and subtracting decimals, you bring down the decimal. Right, and so that's going to be our answer there. Okay. All right, y'all. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Complete all of your homework. If you have questions, just let me know. Bye.